Y'all, I have learned so much about bee colonies today, and I want to share it with you. I feel like there's a lot of you that are kind of going on this journey with me, so I feel like I should help you learn. But when I got to my dad's house on Friday, y'all saw me. I checked the bees and everything. They're making great progress. But when I checked my second hive, number 2, I noticed a second queen. Like I had one queen over in her little cage and everything was fine. But then I felt like I saw another queen and I wasn't sure. I've got to, ask my bee lady. Well, guys, I called her or texted her and everything and I said, what do I do? I've got these 2 queens. And she said, well, the colony will work it out. And I didn't know what that really meant, but I think I know what that really means. And I was like, well, what do I do? And she said, well, you need to close off the hive and let the colony kind of work through the situation. So I closed off the closure and all the bees stayed inside. And, I don't know. I don't know if it was a knife fight, a hand-to-hand combat. I don't know if pistols were involved. I don't know. But the decision was made at some point in that next 24 hours of who was going to be the queen and who was going to be the loser. They might have picked their strongest drone each and had them fight it out. I don't really know how the colony works it out, but apparently they do. And so this morning, I went out to open it up about 10 o'clock. It started warming up and it was about 60 degrees. And so I opened it and those little suckers just kind of acted drunk and started coming out the opening. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. So I sat and I watched them for a little while, and then I noticed that there were some deceased bees involved in the situation. And then I noticed like other bees carrying the little dead bodies. And then they would fly off with them. And I thought, what is going on? I've never seen anything like this. I didn't know what was happening. So I watched them for a little while and they just kind of kept rolling out these little dead bodies. And then another bee would kind of tussle around with them, mess with them, and then fly off with them. And I thought, what is happening? So I did what all great beekeepers do. And I went inside and Googled it. What do bees do with their dead bodies? And turns out, just like there are certain bees that make the wax and certain bees that gather pollen and certain bees that tend to the queen, and there's certain bees that have different jobs, there are undertaker bees. Who knew? Undertaker bees take the little dead bee bodies at least 20 feet from the hive and then either drop them or they can even bury them if they choose to protect the hive from the pests that come when there's decaying bodies. So I thought that was so interesting. So I thought I'd share that with you. But anyway, back to my 2 queen situation. I'm about to open hive 2 and I'm going to go ahead and pull the queen out and put her in her little cage and I'm going to mark her. But don't worry, I'll videotape the marking and everything because I know that'll be really interesting to see. But yeah, today I learned about Undertaker bees. Who knew, y'all? All right, so I've got my queen down in there. One of her little workers is trying to get to her. And I've got a plunger and a little container here, and I've got to wait till she kind of decides she wants to turn over for me. May take a minute because that little worker's trying to convince her that's the way out. Okay, so I've got her right side up, and I'm just gonna get her right where I want her. Put that little dot of paint on her. All right, so there she's marked with her little purple mark. So now we'll let her kind of wander around and get her bearings back. So she's nice and strong and trying to fly there. So yeah, that's how you mark a queen bee. And now she'll, gotta let her dry for just a minute. Put my lid back on my marker. And then she'll be able to go back and begin to lay her babies.